to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I am Mike Barnes, I'm town board.
Deputy Ortiz.
Reverend Simpson.
Diana Klein.
All right. We're missing Councilperson Joe Condrey. He should be on his way, maybe. Okay. All right, what I'd like,
Is Matt Jankowski?
Matt's not gonna be here today. All right, we're gonna do a change of the protocol here, since we have three people here doing a presentation, and I'd like to get that done so they can be sent home. They're far away.
So Mike, can we just approve the agenda? Typically, that should just approve the agenda, since you're making an amendment to the agenda. Let's approve the agenda.
All right, make a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as modified or edited.
Did you preview this?
We have to put it on.
So, yeah, so that's my motion. Second, thanks. Let's have some discussion about where we want to put things.
Okay, first of all, we have EMS is also going to be presenting.
On the old business, where are you gonna put that?
They're gonna be on the old business.
And then what was the other two things?
Well, we have, public comment. All right, and the thing with the public comment is the fact that there's two sections. There's a public comment number one and number two. I'm asking people, if you are going to do a public comment about the lithium ion plant, would you hold that to comment number two? Because we're going to do some presentation first here, and it may answer some of your questions, and so forth. All right, I'd like to have only those people right now who want to talk about other than lithium ion plant. If you signed up, you have a list there.
What's the other presentation?
EMS.
And
We have IECON,
is that right?
and we also have Delaware Engineering. Okay, is there anybody here that wishes to make a comment other than the lithium ion plant? What are you guys doing? All right, okay, all right.
All right, so that includes John Iola,
Is John here?
and, so you're holding till the second.
Whatever you want.
And,
Rita?
Danita? Danita, okay. And Jillian, I know she's here. Anybody else?
Okay. All right, we don't have the minutes.
No, we'll have the next meeting.
Okay. All right,
We open and close the first.
we open and close the first public comment. I make a motion to close.
We have to start to approve the agenda.
Yeah.
We're not on the agenda. No, we were discussing. We were discussing.
All right, make a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Second.
All right, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Asked. Okay, make a motion to open public comment number one.
Second.
All approved, discussion? All approved? All in favor? Aye. All right, I make a motion to close public comment number one.
I second.
Discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to open up, this is fast, this is how we do things. Make a motion to, open up the town clerk's report. Second?
That's on the agenda, so.
Well, yeah, we have to, that's right, we have to do that. All right,
Yeah, we have to.
Lynn, I have your stuff on the screen,
Okay,
and I have your pie chart if you need it.
all right.
So the minutes, the minutes for the last one's meeting, you're saying it's gonna be, we're gonna get that next.
Next
month.
meeting, you'll have one, yeah.
But we're only up
Next
to,
month.
what did we prove up to?
22nd.
it
27th.
is.
So maybe you just explain why it is that the minutes are late, because
We did our town, we reconciled with the county last week.
no, the reason is because the meeting minutes.
Oh,
We had a meeting
we had a meeting
last
last
week.
week.
And we have moved up the other meeting 1 week, so that's
We
why.
we also reconciled with the county with the taxes last week, so it was important to get that finished. Put it all clear. Okay. And you have in your packets both the monthly report and you have the collections report from the town collector, okay? So, the town clerk's report, you'll see that the clerk's office recorded $48,205 worth of revenues, which comes from the transfer station, the building department, and our own office for services and permits. And the following pie chart,
Oh, you want a pie chart? Method is hard. There you go.
there's the pie chart. You'll see that most of the revenues to the town outside of taxes comes from the building department, which they will, you know, details are on the page, and the transfer station.
This will all be on our website tomorrow.
So as far as the collective town collections and taxes, we
Can you
reconcile that?
Turn the microphone on.
Is it not?
It is. I think just pull it closer.
Okay. We also reconciled with Ulster County Finance Department, with the taxes last week on Thursday. Our original warrant was 8.1 million. Our share that we collected, 6.7 million, which we did. And we have an outstanding total unpaid bills. We're about 3.5% of total taxes, with 285,000 approximately. So we have settled with the county. We're just waiting for one more affidavit from them, and that's closed for the year. So I'm happy to say that we were able to stay on top of everything. We had all hands on deck working for the first 6 months of the year, which helped us smooth that out. And we also extended hours, you know, a couple of times during the year for people to pay their taxes in person. So we're very happy that that all has done and behind us, and we can concentrate on some projects over the summer. Those projects are going to include developing a file management system that we can all have input to, so we know where to find things, and we'll concentrate on organizing the office, because we haven't done a lot of that in the last year and a half in the office there. And digitizing, seeing where we have opportunity to digitize things, and work on what other services we can offer the town. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Was there a highway abstract?
Should
I
be.
did not get the highway abstract. Mike? I didn't see a highway abstract from you on my desk, so.
Turn it in.
I would not put the page here. I think
It's
it's
here.
It's in
It's
there.
here.
Okay, I already gave it to them.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Oh, it's here.
It's in this packet.
Okay, I got it.
You got it?
Turn it in Friday.
All set, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, there it is.
It's right there.
There it is. We did it a couple of weeks ago, so I'm sorry, it slipped my mind.
Yeah, you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the clerk's report.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
That's my turn. All right, a couple of things here. You all have your financials, P&Ls here. If there's any, I need a discussion of that. All right. And, you know, this basically, we talk about every important date. You have, there's one part of the P&L shows you all the budget lines, what has been spent so far this year, and what is left over.
Those ones will be posted tomorrow.
Which will be posted online, going through that.
This is good. This is stuff we never had before.
Right.
This is good to have.
I want to tell you something also. If you look at the
Thank you, Lynn.
budget lines, the summary budget lines, you might see some negative numbers there and so forth, negative accounts. And the reason being that so is that we have to reconcile a lot of the money that's negative, what the accounts are negative, that money has to come out of the capital H funds. As it is right now, it comes out of a budget line now, because QuickBooks doesn't accept capital H in the sense, so we have to actually go back by hand and then move capital H funds into those lines that are negative here to make it positive.
Yeah, I don't understand that process, but that's.
It's not that QuickBooks doesn't accept the capital funds. The way we have QuickBooks set up from our accountant is that we only run one company. So therefore, in order to run one company, the only way to decipher the capital funds from general and highway is to put them under, categorize them by general, highway, and capital. Because that is the way that the AFR is, the annual financial report is filed each year. So to save time for the accountant and obviously money, because the accountant is very expensive, we do it their way. And then when I get a second, I'll move the capital funds out of the budget line so you have accurate numbers.
You'll have updated capitals.
Right now,
Right now, but you'll also have, will be factually and updated for your
Correct.
halfway point, by the end of the month into July. So some of the other things that are also taken out of that are grant monies that we yet haven't put into these lines either. So those grant funds are sitting in the savings account.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, can I ask a question? Just on the P&L budget. You have a percent of budget. And if you go to, like minor sales, for example, or line 2650, 2655, 2690, it says percent of budget is 100%, budget number is 0, and there's expenditure. So I don't understand the math.
So we don't have a budget for those numbers because they're revenue. So obviously it would be 100% because it's not balancing it against anything.
It's revenue, meaning it comes in.
Yeah.
Not the budget line. So you're showing money in, and because it's only coming in.
Exactly, so
So
it's
that's why
showing you,
percentages are more than 100% in some cases.
And we didn't put anything, we didn't budget any income to be
Those are-
coming in.
those are
How
budget
do you
lines.
calculate that percent?
Every time you have a dollar over, it's that 1% more.
correct.
So this is money that we took in. It's not, so you're looking at income lines,
Correct.
not budget lines that would go out. This is what's come into the town. So that's why it's.
So the $1,000 is,
What line are you referring to? You're referring
Private
to,
grants.
private grants.
right, so we got a private grant of $1,000. So that's why if you go over the percentage of the budget, it's saying 100% because there's nothing in the budget. We didn't expect to get a private grant, so we wouldn't have put it in there. Right, but I have said, if you have time to come sit and understand the way that QuickBooks works. I've asked every board member, no board member has taken me up on the opportunity, except for John and Mike. So it's very hard to explain it when you don't know how the system works.
Okay, this is a math problem because you're dividing by 0.
But it's not a math problem. There is no budget. So it's telling you that you have 100% of what, of money of $1,000 in there because there's nothing to balance it against.
it's in unexpensive.
But if you didn't allow for the income that's in, and you get something, then you're 100% over the budget.
Again, if any board member would like to come meet with me, I am here 40 hours a week. I send emails notoriously every month. Please come understand the way the system works. No board members take me up on it.
I will take you up on it.
I appreciate that. It would be wonderful. And these are online, right, Jeremy?
It will be on.
Everything, yeah, I always put this stuff online the morning after our meetings. Always hunker down on Wednesdays or Tuesdays after this time.
Yeah, these are all, those are all expensive. So you don't, your report, Mike, or?
No, I'm gonna wait till they finish. All right. So we see the financials coming through. One thing also, we have just received today our mortgage tax receipts from the county in an amount of $87,238.73, which is now goes into our income.
And how often do we get a mortgage tax?
We get it twice a year, and then every quarterly we get sales tax also.
Okay, so this is the first, but
This is the first. This is the first one. The second one should be probably around December.
This is about what we expected. Is it more or less?
It's about what we.
Well, we expected this. We hope for more.
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, just to go back here, those people, again, our financials, okay? The time being?
Yeah.
What we could do with the financials, you guys can look at the financials, and then the next time we're meeting, we can go back and go explain everything.
Yeah, I'll go talk.
Okay. Another thing we have here is, just to let people know, there's a measles vaccine clinic that is on Tuesday, June 17th, that's tomorrow, between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Trudy Center, which is 50 Center Street in Ellenville. And it's free. If you want to, just go there.
it's a county program, right?
County program, yes, it's a county program, and go from there.
So Mike, just for an update, I think it was Greg that requested the information. We put 110 into the budget for mortgage tax. We're currently 83, so we should be roughly 50 to 60 over. If we comes back at 80.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm finished with my report.
Motion to approve.
We need, you please?
Yes.
Okay, I'm making a motion to approve the supervisor. I can't make it.
I'll make a motion to approve the supervisor report.
And I'll second.
Can I vote on it?
Yes. All in favor?
Aye. Okay, John, recreation report?
Right, so, some new updates. One of the things that we have is, I'd like to go over what the library is currently doing. So the library and the rec department kind of work together. We established that a number of years ago, and it really seems to be bringing West Hurley, Old Hurley together. This is the one way that we can do it, and it's with our libraries. So they currently have about 25 different summer programs, whether they're being reading or something like that. Jeremy, you'll get all this for the.
Yeah, I always put their schedule in the newsletter and then I share stuff intermittently as they
So I requested that
announce.
she did this digitally for you.
Perfect.
For the board tonight, I can pass it around. So they're gonna be doing reptiles and huts. So some of these things are also gonna be at Dugville Park. That's important because part of our grant that we're getting from the county is for kids at our park. So this is one way that this is how we get reimbursed also. So we have reptiles, we have Winterberry Homestead with homing pigeons, and then we have the Forsyth Park Natural Site. And then we have Ravensburg, Ravens Cedars, which is also going to be at the Dugville. So, and that's more information about raptors and things of that nature. So, so the 6,000 that we gave them paid for all this plus a bus to Natural History Museum of Natural History. So that's one of the stuff. So that's that.
Can I just did another thing for the library?
Of course.
In June, they started doing, they're giving you a passport, and every time you go to a different library, you get it stamped. And depending on how many you get stamped, you get something. So I know 35 different libraries, you get a tote bag, you get something for 10, something for 70. So I mean, there's a ton of them, but it was so cool because I was at the rally Sunday or Saturday at Beacon, and I walked past the Beacon Library, so I ran in and she had it, so I got my passport stamped at the Beacon Library. But I think what a great opportunity to bring children around, because all the libraries are so different. So just stop in and get that passport, and I thought it was a very, very
And
cool
it's free.
program. Yeah, it's free.
So,
And you get a pen, a pencil, and a bookmark, but like I said, depending on how many stamps you get more prizes.
and I did ask them also to maybe be a representation at the Hurley Day, even
Okay,
if they combine.
well, that'd be great.
So, so moving forward with with more town rec, so there were proposals for the RFPs that went out for the fields. I did not receive anything. You didn't get any bids, right? All right, so we'll go out, we'll start trying to handpick some folk that can find the ability to do it. We need to get that done in the next week or so, which is gonna be hard. not sure if everybody saw the signs. I emailed everybody, so currently we have some new signs that we're gonna be putting into Town Park. The old ones are faded, you can't see them, they're outdated, numbers that don't even exist any longer. So one of the things I wanted to request for the town board is, obviously color, scheme, but then also, do we want to go with winter hours, or do we want to think about even closing the park in the winter? So from December, for example, till we open up in the spring, saving money on
Have
somebody.
you talked to Rich, when it opens the gate every day, like what kind of activity do we get in the winter time?
You can still get into the park, you just have to park across the street by the tennis, across from the tennis courts. But what it would do is it would save a couple bucks from him having to go in, because the bathrooms are locked, everything's locked. It's a little safer, we don't have cars going in. There's not a lot of traffic up there, so it's kind of right now it self-maintains itself, being like people coming in and out, like as far as security goes.
What if there's snow? People like to play,
Well,
They can still go in it, they
But
just
I'd
can't
like to
be
ask
without the
Rich,
parking of the lot.
because he's been doing this for 15 years or better, what kind of,
Anyway, so I'm just bringing it to the board's attention. This is something we would like to think about doing, like Olive, Davis Park, they all close in the winter. Saves money on that person opening and closing, as well as I'll inquire about the activity.
You still have to plow out though for insurance purposes, correct?
The church,
Will we still have to plow it for insurance purposes?
not if I close it.
Check. We'll check.
well, yeah, because you said you can get in anyway.
Oh, you can only walk.
Okay.
You can only walk them by the tennis courts.
Well, close it.
I think insurance purposes, so for fire safety, now you have to keep it accessible.
Yes, what was something got hurt, if you walk,
Yeah.
what, if you walk in and you got
That's
hurt?
why we
Yeah,
plow
you know,
through.
But I mean,
You
it's,
have to
it's labeled,
Not only that, someone gets hurt.
I think it's-
I mean, it's labeled park closed, the gate's closed. I mean, I would kind of assume that that liability then released from the town if you go in there. However, I will inquire.
Right,
I'm sure we have to keep
The
some type of
reason the reason I
insurance.
say that, John, is because we as a courtesy usually go up when we go to Vandermark. We make a circle around, and just go once through Maverick concerts.
Right.
Because that's part of the thing, and I know if, you go away from your house.
Right.
You gotta keep your driveway open for winter time.
So you guys actually plow inside the park in the winter? Yeah, so there's savings right there too.
Well, no, it's,
No, you have to.
if somebody got hurt,
Yeah,
if you
just
can
check
walk
the
in,
marshals
if you
over.
get hurt,
Right.
then you gotta plow that for the,
I mean, anybody can,
Million catches on
May not,
fire,
not
doesn't
keep
it?
the park open, we gotta-
right, you gotta.
Oh, no,
fire-
you can
gotta have
still
to
have-
emergency.
all the fire departments have keys to the
But
gate.
if it's not plowed.
Right, so you gotta plow just for emergency.
I think John's rules basically is,
I'll
we
call
do,
you.
we do keep it open. Because in case like if some people go in there, someone gets injured more or less, you need access for
So
it.
do we want to do dusk till dawn, do we want to set hours? Right now it's 8 AM till dark, roughly. So that's just, they just threw that in there. But this is you.
Well, you don't wanna be up there at 5 in the morning, but it's 8 o'clock,
8 AM.
you know,
Yeah.
you don't need to be done any earlier than that, and so dark, yeah.
Well, it's still gonna have to keep the lights on.
That's when comfort goes and opens up at 8.
It closes around 6 during the time.
Probably 4, even. It's dark right before.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys want me to,
Do we have set hours for when it's not? We kind of assume that.
You say dusk to dawn, right?
right now it says 10 AM till dark. This is what it says, 10 AM to dark. right now.
Right, and that changes as the summer progresses, so that's good.
Right,
You know,
dark
because
changes.
yes, yes, it's
Dark
fine.
is fine.
Right.
But we would like. What time do you want me to?
Dusk to dawn, you're saying?
Right.
We're going, it's 5 in the morning, it's like, we don't need to be open any earlier than 8 o'clock.
No, I think it's,
That's a valid point. So I should talk to Comfort again on that?
yes.
Right, so currently I think he's opening up at 8 AM because I know we have the ball teams that are going in early. They line all the field, they get everything ready for a 9 o'clock start kind of thing.
Yeah, so I would change that to, I would suggest that it's 8 AM now, that's during most of the year.
So I can do that. I can do summer 8 AM to dusk, 10 AM until dusk in winter. Okay.
You still have to keep the lights on. also.
For more information, it'd be interesting.
Those are automatic.
I know.
They're uncensored, right? All right, so that's 10 AM. And then the number that's up there is no longer in existence, so I have, just to reserve the park, I'm just gonna do the 3317474, because then if the extensions ever change, it reads the new extensions, that's always updated on our
Yep.
voicemail.
Right, so, and if they want to reserve fields, to just refer to you.
Correct.
to your
Yeah,
office.
yes. So, park regulations, so this is the one that's below it. So that did change a little bit. So I have the, no dogs on the field. Right, but we are allowing dogs, they just have to be leashed and such, so that'll stay on here and that'll be updated. No smoking on the playground. Mr. Baums wanted me to put no smoking on town property. And I think that's gonna be something where we start utilizing all over town properties.
Yep.
So then I can make that one sign can be used for multiple areas of the town. Town properties. Smoking, marijuana, vaping, smoking is on the sign.
Offices,
Listen, it's up to you guys. Yeah, there's supposed to be like a 10-foot radius or something like that.
50-foot radius.
You guys are hard, but anyway.
States.
But if you're saying on top, that means you can't go in that park at all and still anywhere in there, not even in your car? I know.
that doesn't matter, I'm not really interested in what happens up in the office, the smoking.
Right. No. Well, there's no one smoking here, but they do smoke directly out and it comes in. Yes, I agree with you. So would you, so it says on playground, so would you want me to put in park then? Or on the no smoking in the park?
In the park, and town properties.
I don't know, and that's my asking. You guys are the final decision. So like right now, it says no smoking. I think you guys looked at this. No smoking, no vaping, no marijuana allowed on town property. That's currently what it says.
Your question on that, right?
I have no questions, sir. I have no questions at all. I think it's brilliant.
It's the enforcement.
I think this is correct. This is what should happen.
That's what you're-
Just enforcing it.
It's the enforcement that's a problem.
Yeah, I trust people.
But once you put the sign up, then you can call the sheriff, you can call, you have the enforcement ability to do so.
Yeah.
But right now, there's nothing. And if they are, they're faded, ripped, because they're like paper, laminated paper that's stuck on the fence or something. So I'm gonna redo, these are gonna either be metal or a hard plastic. I'll get prices for those. I have all the updates for the tennis courts. Those were approved by multiple tennis players that we've had up there for years. I ran it by them. And again, no dogs on the field. So, if you guys are okay with the color scheme,
I like the green.
I'll get some more proofs and then I'll pass them around for approvals.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
I have had an inquiry here and there about pickleball. Do you have any,
Maybe that'll come up later in the
That's
presentation.
part of the.
That's gonna be our master plan.
Oh.
We're putting together a master.
We have the pickleball master here.
No, we don't. What's pickleball?
Tennis,
ping pong,
So I think that's everything I have.
Early day.
Oh, and Hurley Day. So, the census was the 13th, which would then be the second Saturday of September, and that's where we keep it every year. So then people can plan around it and can start building it. Yes. Cool?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
All right, highway report. Highway report.
We're plugging away on Joy's Lane. We've hit a couple of hiccups. We had to replace the crossover. It looked like a 70-year-old pile pipe that was all in pieces when we scoped it, so we had to dig it up and replace it all. The amount of water up there coming underground is phenomenal. We had an old bluestone wall that looked like it was a wall for a bridge or something where a stream used to come down, which was interesting. And then, the soil structure down there is such that it didn't want to hold up, so we had to get a trench box and an auger excavator to dig, because anything deeper than 4 foot, you have to have protection for caving for the employees. So we did that, and we're back on track, and we're heading down the road.
And how many speed bumps?
No speed bumps yet, and not until after we get the drainage done with blacktop, then we'll have 2 speed bumps.
Not going fast enough
Speed
right now.
speed bumps, not bumps, speed
Yeah.
bumps.
3rd mile in and 3rd mile out. Inside.
We're also screening some of the material up and back that we're gonna use to mix with the salt for the winter roads, and then we're gonna be screening some leaf mulch and the dirt that we're bringing off this project when it dries, make our own topsoil, because we're bringing off topsoil. So, work's progressing. We're still trying to, work in between the raindrops to get out and patch, the potholes. Because we can't just go out and buy, a wheelbarrow full of blacktop. We have to buy several tons of blacktop at one shot. So we have to have a planned route before we go out so that we can get that blacktop in every one of those holes before it gets cold and it's wasted. So, I try to educate people when they call up on that it's a process that we have to plan out. And, we have a list. And, once the rain stops and we can be assured that it's going to be dry, we'll be out there in force, filling potholes.
Can I suggest that you publish that list? When we get it. Yeah. all those-
Whenever you can, if you want to give me a day-to-day list, today we're gonna be on such and such a street, I can gladly just post that in the morning.
Well, there's not-
Yeah, I can do it in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It's,
you can't predict ahead because of the weather, I get it.
But even just a list of where you plan to go, so people call in complaining about a particular.
like the one you called on the weekend, that was already on the top of the list. So.
Right, so,
Email me
be
anytime.
aware
and I'll
that-
put it up.
Some of them were filled with, cold patch over the winter time. The cold patch does not stay in a hole. It comes right out. So, as soon as we can, it's gotta be dry. And, the blacktop's gotta stay hot for the entire time that we're patching holes. So it's a process.
Yeah, don't just put it on your road updates page, because I think we have different audiences, so I'd be glad to put it on our page as well. We'll work it out.
Yeah, well, the morning of, I'll get it to you.
Sure.
I might even be able to get it the night before.
Thank you. Next one is extensive report.
No, we could look at it, but we don't have to prove it.
All right, next one is building department. Paul, you want to talk about this at all?
There's nothing to report really. Business as usual. The revenues have been exceptional. We issued, between May and June, there's a record number of permits for
Greg, if you'd like, if you look at your profit and loss, we were referring to, if you look at 1560. So on here, you'll see the 88,654,000 come in, budget was 120. So you see where your revenues now are coming in based on 120, so you're at 73%, so roughly a 1/4% from hitting our target. So that's where you're seeing those percentages of incomes and how they offset. So when there's no budget, for example, this one's 120,000. When there was no budget set, anything that does come in based on revenue is always going to be 100% plus. You're going to increase those percentages because there was never a budget for the line.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah.
But you can see again how that transpires on that line.
yeah, yes, okay, all right, thanks.
Good job. Well, we're about 33,000. more than this.
Yeah.
For the year.
No reasons.
Okay, and
That's for the year, right? We got 6 months to go.
They're working hard on it.
okay, this is the assessors report. All right, which has the sale prices of the houses there, with the SBRI numbers there. All right,
Ooh, one house over a million.
all right. What I'd like to do now is go into the old business. All right, and I guess the first one online is the new highway update. John Rust.
So I thought you called me old. Proposed new highway garage. The town board retained us about a year ago to advance a new highway garage. And we have completed the seeker process. We did get a late comment from New York City DEP, responded to them. They were okay with our response. So seeker has been completed. And then this past week, we were notified that the alienation, what's called an alienation process, has also been completed. Because we're using, which is a big deal. Yeah.
Well, there's one thing. It hasn't been signed yet by Kathy Hochul yet, but it's on her desk.
Yeah, but it made it through both the Assembly and the Senate. And when we were here, maybe 6-9 months ago, we were saying, what if we didn't get through the process? We typically get through the process. It is a home rule state. But because we are occupying some of the lands that are part of the park, New York State requires that you go through an alienation process. So we've alienated 8 acres. And then we've substituted another 8 acres that the town owns into the park. So there's no net loss of parkland, and we've made it through the process, both the Senate and the Assembly. So the next step is for us to get a contract amendment to the board, for the board to consider to go forward with the design component of the project. Mike and I did go down and visit with Woodstock the other day to look at their geothermal system that they had installed. And we're going to do that for a few other facilities as we collect ideas, like the supervisor and I went to a couple of facilities. We're gathering ideas to finalize the design concepts, which will be that first step when we get you that contract extension. So we'll do that in the next week. But basically from here on in, it's, you're in charge. Right? The outside forces have approved us going forward, and now it's time to go forward. So all good news to Diana's point.
All right, next one up is, Abdil. All right, Abdil is, am I saying it correctly?
AECOM, yes.
AECOM. Abdil, company AECOM is going to be doing the, study on the landfill. We received a $1.325 million grant from the EFC, Environmental Facilities Corporation, and we have contracted with AECOM to do the study on how to, clean up the landfill.
Yes.
Nice.
So, my name is Abdiel Lopez Torres. I'm with AECOM. I'm a senior project manager, and I'm a professional geologist here in New York. We've been retained to do the remedial investigation and feasibility study at the closed landfill. Should I suppose that folks know what a remedial investigation and feasibility study is? Basically, just determining or trying to determine the nature and extent of contamination that's leaching out of the closed landfill. And the feasibility study component of it is understanding remedial alternatives to solve the situation. Right now, there's emerging contaminants emanating from the closed landfill. What the remedial investigation will do is expand what's called the site characterization. It's basically understanding where the contaminant are flowing to and where there are data gaps from the previous studies. So we're going to get any and all documentation that the town has on previous assessments on how the landfill has been managed in the past to do a background study, which will be the basis of creating the work plan and determining the locations of the samples. We will be drilling to sample groundwater, also proposing to, actually, I should qualify everything as proposing because the New York State DEC has to approve our work plan. Right now, the stage where we are is, as of the other day, the supervisor informed us that we did get, the town did get the funding approved, and we also need the DEC to be on board. But now we're going to be able to start with the work plan aspect of it. Once the work plan gets approved by the DEC, then we can go in and do the assessment. There will be public input and participation throughout the entire process as it's required by the state, pursuant to a community participation plan that will be part of the work plan that we will be submitting to the DEC. They also need to review and approve that. So there will be multiple instances where you all will be informed of what's going on. And the ultimate goal of what we've been retained to do is to get this towards a proposed remedial action plan. That is basically After the remedial investigation and the feasibility study is done, the proposed course of action is presented to the DEC, then they issue a record of decision. And once they issue that record of decision, then the actual remediation can happen. So it's just a standard iterative process. I feel honored to be part of it. I'm an Ulster County resident myself. I live down the road here in Marbletown. So you'll probably be seeing my face throughout the course of the project. So does that make justice what you were expecting?
I do, I really do. But I want to, when would you plan on starting?
So as soon as we get the consent order and the evidence of the funding, we kick off. We're expecting to kick off this next Monday. We're hoping to get all of the background documentation from the town and from its former consultants. And initially, it's basically a desktop study to understand, the previous information on the site. We're going to be performing a site visit and kicking off the project formally. We will also need to meet with the DEC and the town to chart a path forward that is agreeable to all.
How long do you think this study is going to last?
So the work plan itself, we've per our proposal that was approved. Once we start, we have a window of 60 days for the work plan to submit it to the DEC. God knows how long they take to approve the work plan, but we'll certainly be on top of them. It all depends on what the work plan actually is in terms of how many borings and how many samples are to be collected. That will determine the field program. Once that is done, we issue a remedial investigation report and feasibility study report. So it really depends on what the work plan, the approved work plan is, but this process can range from 12 months to 24 months. So it's an extensive process. It's usually dictated by and I'll caveat, that range of time that it all depends what the work plan, the approved work plan ends up being. We will certainly do everything, that we can to expedite the process, but certainly it's all dependent on DEC approval and review and approval time as well. So we'll have to, work together to expedite the process as much as possible.
So, well, I want to say thank you, because your leadership and tenacity got us to this point, to get the grant and all that. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, big deal. How does the pilot that we did with Streamgo, thank you. How does that factor into this?
I gave him the results.
Okay.
You have the two studies that came up there. I spoke to Streamgo now again. You're talking about also. What the study and the testing has done is not scientific, because there were some procedures that were missing, and that one of them is independent study, independent testing, and so forth. Even though Pace Lab did the study, did the testing, they didn't do the collection.
Right.
Yep.
Streamgo did the collection, and for a scientific study, independent, the third party has to do the collection and then give it to them. There was a point where they just showcases this whole idea.
Yeah.
You looked at I sent you the results of all of them.
I
gave you a
haven't,
hard copy.
yeah, I haven't looked at the data. Tell you the truth, these pilot tests tend to be preceded by an actual work plan that's reviewed and approved by the DEC. So that is happening in parallel to the remedial investigation that we will be doing. We are focusing on the nature and extent of contamination and offsite migration, as well as any potential remediation of the excess leachate that's created We have provided the town with a separate proposal for understanding and treating the leachate on site through a similar methodology, a little bit less extensive as the stream go. This full disclosure, my thought process is that system is bigger than what the town may need. We need to look at further data, but any system carries with it ongoing expenses, right?
Sure.
And it seems like a system that will fit well, somewhere like in the city of Kingston, wastewater treatment facility or something like that. That's a little bit more involved, but that's just my off the cuff comment there. But we're willing to work in parallel with the remedial investigation to address the leachate problem, which we understand it's a big issue. Part of what we could look at is potential on-site treatment and on-site discharge to eliminate the necessity of taking it off-site through established regulatory framework, which is the state pollutant discharge elimination system, it's bureaucratic as well, but it at the end it could gear the town towards having less ongoing maintenance expenses and leachate hauling expenses. We're willing to take that conversation forward as we carry on the remedial investigation in parallel.
Okay, with the on-site determination and doing it on-site more or less, and then discharging it on-site also. Is that going to require us to have a wastewater treatment center there?
It requires on-site treatment, which as what we provided could just be as simple as a mobile truck with a granulated activated carbon vessel, albeit you under an approved work plan and with the data to back it up, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be a really expensive system.
Okay.
I can ask, who does the actual testing on the leachate for contaminants?
Qualified environmental professional, environmental consultant.
Your company or others? Third party?
It could be our company, or it could be another company. It could be, Crawford and Associates or, whoever, whichever company. We are independent environmental professionals following state regulations.
So I guess the question I'm asking, when you do the assessment, you take the samples.
Mm-hmm.
Where do the samples go somewhere to be tested?
Correct.
And that's not you.
That's not us. No, that's a third-party laboratory that they are under state. It's actually NELAC a license under the state. That definitely it's not us. We could take the sample, we ship it off to a qualified laboratory, and then they do their own testing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Isn't that the same thing that they did now?
No.
They were saying with StreamGo, where they sent it out to an independent lab?
No.
They brought it to the.
No, they brought the sample. That's why I don't know about the validity of those tests.
In other words, what StreamGo did, for a scientific study, is not a valid study.
Yeah, it's not.
It has to be reproducible, and you don't know.
You couldn't use those test results for anything because they're not done in accordance with scientific principles.
What you can do with the test that was done is an indication of which way to go, and that's all it is. Maybe. Yeah. But this is going to be more scientific, where a third party is going to come in and collect the samples and deliver.
They're not going to collect the samples. The third party's coming and collecting the samples.
He said he was going to collect the sample.
There is also an added layer that it's a little geeky, but there's also data validation requirements. You need that data to be validated according to state standards. So let's say if you have a laboratory duplicate or the laboratory calibration procedures are not well documented, then that data is not necessarily validatable, if that's a word. There are tiers of proving the validity of data, and we're following that through the RIFS process.
Actually, you mentioned that you're gonna involve with, community. Can you give us like an idea of how often or?
Sure. So, yeah, I actually have that in my notes here. So, before the finalization of the work plan, once we take the work plan provided to the DEC, before they finalize it, it's issued, the work plan is issued via the DEC listserv, and also should be posted in the public library, and also open here for comment as well to the community. The community participation plan in coordination with the town and with the DEC will have the list of all the relevant stakeholders and interested parties, and they will get the work plan distributed. Once the work plan is approved and finalized, then the remedial investigation report also gets distributed to the public for the review. Before a final remedial approach is finalized, there's a 30-day public comment for the public to give input on the remedial action that is chosen. And something that we've been discussing with Mr. Baums is that we will, as part of our remedial alternatives analysis, we are hyper-focused on analyzing and assessing the most environmentally friendly and most sustainable approaches to remediation. So we're just not going to, put a super dirty, heavy treatment system, as the first option. We will analyze all the options, but we're certainly hyper-focused on it being the most sustainable and hopefully the least costly on the long run as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Look
All
forward to
right.
more.
That was a mouthful.
How do you spell your name?
ABDIEL. And then get ready for this one.
Okay.
LOPEZ
Lopez.
and TORRES. I've been called Dale sometimes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Okay, the next name is EMS.
About history. Yeah, that's really important.
Matthew Cerny, President, Hurley Ambulance Service. I'm joined tonight by Ken Fitzgerald, who will be the Chief of Hurley Ambulance Service. We are this close to a contract. Our attorney, Jason Kovacs, has been working with Matt Jankowski daily for the past week. We have a couple of fine little details yet to be ironed out, but we're making progress, and I think that we'll have a resolution within the week for our contract with the town. We have secured a location for the ambulance service. It'll be on the same property. We will be leasing property, and it will be on the same property that the current temporary highway garage is on. So it's within the town of Kingston. You recall that we have a very small window of geographical area that is the center of Hurley, which happens to be the town of Kingston. So we did have a hard time finding what would be the ideal location. But the property that we have secured will work for our needs to kind of get us up and off the ground. We're looking at the first 1 to 3 years to make sure all of our budget numbers work, our anticipated income is accurate. Then from there, we're going to be addressing our need for a permanent location. So those are some big hurdles that we've overcome, but we're well on our way. So we hope to have ongoing discussion with the town in the next few days.
But so when you said that you'll have a contract in a few days, will we see that at our next meeting then?
Very soon.
Well, yeah, we really, based on timeline, so once we do this and we sign, we have signed the contract that executes, it then has to go to the state and it's a 60-day turnaround. So there's a little bit of urgency to try to, get that done because it then has to go to the regional, I guess, what's it,
Remsco, yeah, regional EMS.
regional EMS, and they then have the final approval. They have a special meeting in August, which they don't normally do, which if we executed this pretty quick in the next week or so, we can potentially get there and we would have potential target startup of September 1st. So, we may actually need to call a special meeting, like they said, we're still ironing out, it's almost done, and I think the copy I sent you about a week or so ago, it's really very close to that. You'll see what the changes were, not a lot of major changes to it. So we're actually hoping, right, Mike, that we might do a special meeting even on Friday, call a special meeting, just and get this to you, obviously ASAP, so you can really absorb.
That would be the 22nd.
Not to plug your work.
Yeah.
I have to tell you something. Doing something like this takes years. This has been done in less than a year. And this has, I had to give kudos to you, Dave. I'm sorry.
And Matt
And
too.
and Matt also.
Yeah, I gotta
But this is
put-
something that,
And Ken.
and can.
Lots of people.
No, but I'm just saying that if the work you've done is just,
Yeah, we're
incredible.
almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
So I would just say, if you're gonna have a special meeting, you might want to make a motion. You have to give a certain amount of days. You want to have the special meetings. So you're kind of cutting it close. I would do it today if it's gonna be the 20th. You've given the information to the public, so that's part of it. And now
So Friday, is it?
it's up to you guys. You
possible?
can decide on a day. I'm just saying you could
Yeah.
potentially put that resolution or motion forward tonight.
Comfortable with Friday?
all right. I make a motion to have a special meeting on Friday, 20th.
What time?
I'm out of town. I leave at 7 and 1 on the plane, so.
All right, 6 o'clock it is.
Oh, no, you have to do like 4. I get there by 5.
Right?
I can't give you the time right now. I just can't do
Well,
that.
how about we make it, for Friday, the 20th,
That's
at the times it's you.
Oh, man, I mean, I don't want that pressure, man. I just don't want that pressure.
Going out some time.
But I can't give you a time. I know what.
Well, this is a special meeting, emergency meeting.
You have to do that.
Can we do this online? Can we do this online?
No, you can do it at any point in time. You just, I believe it's 2 or 3
You're saying
days.
like a Zoom meeting?
Yeah.
Because we're doing it in a Zoom meeting?
And it doesn't, so.
I don't know.
I don't think-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it tomorrow, you can figure it out, but probably still have time, so then if you post it to public tomorrow, that would be Wednesday, well, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday,
If we
Thursday.
post it tomorrow, we're fine.
Yeah, tomorrow,
If we post it tomorrow,
by
by 3 days
12
ahead.
by 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
You can post it by 12?
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as you guys tell me what time,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you can make a motion to have the meeting on Friday and I'll,
Okay.
Motion's been made.
yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Fine.
So I just need a time by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll let us know.
Yeah.
No,
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you just gotta let Joe know.
Thank you.
Potentially.
Thank you so much. We'll see you.
Yeah.
Like an hour.
Okay. Last old business is the transfer station shed. We did the shed. All right.
Wait, I have a picture.
Yeah, I've been up.
There's the shed. All right. I just gotta let you know that,
The interior wasn't done yet when I took this picture a couple of weeks ago.
the blacktop, by the way, blacktop was done by the highway department. Thank you. All right, now comes the hard part. We got insulated. We did the electricity already, insulated. It is a steam bath inside there.
It is.
even with the air conditioning on, it's insulated going through. We're looking for a contracted contract.
Did you talk to Kyle,
Kyle Kenny?
the fellow that works up there?
Kyle.
He said he'd be willing to do it, talk to him. Check her hours.
You might wanna,
Yeah, that's, you've got to,
Well, here's the thing. The shed cost us $6,900. All right. It cost us $3,300 for electricity. We allocated $12,900 for it, which makes it like another $3,000 is left over. I got one bid for $9,000. So like,
exactly.
insulated,
It's 12 by 12, right?
12 by 14.
12 by 14.
Now, the thing is that I don't want to insulate, but also you have to anchor it down into the ground. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of an odds.
Is that Brad Smart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got one.
So anyway, so like, we were waiting, we have two people that looked at the deal, and they said they'd get it back to me today, but I haven't got it yet. I will push them to go through there.
Okay.
What I'd like to do is, Tom's blessing, somehow, whomever we, decide, do it right away.
Yeah, I would have no problem with that.
Yeah.
All right, 'cause we-
But we have to see what it is and approve it.
Right, well, we approved 12,000
No, we have to approve doing it. You know, I'm not gonna just tell you, go ahead and hire whoever you want. You have to show us who's doing it, what's getting done.
Okay, I can send you, when the proposal comes in.
Right.
All right, I can
What
send
is the
it.
proposal for what, 3 grand?
Well,
Hopefully
just know
$3
yet. He said the budget was 9, that's what I mean, that's,
That
can't
should
give you a blank
hopefully
check.
include all the materials.
It's in the budget.
Yeah, so when I get the proposal, and then I'll pass it on to you guys. Okay,
Okay.
All right.
My shed.
yeah. Okay, I think we're done with old business.
What, Jim Herman want to do it?
We're gonna be arguing first, but,
I know you were gonna ask it.
Worst court.
all right, so, old business is now taken care of, now new business. All right, I guess the new business here deals with the, proposed lithium-ion battery storage facility. All right, I just want to say something about, well, I want to say a few things about this thing. Hopefully people will, get educated on this thing too. All right, can you guys hear back there? You put your mic on closer. Okay, first thing is this. I never heard of this, plant at all being done until I got 2 emails from residents in the town of Hurley. I made it a point the next day to go visit the supervisor of Ulster and talk to him about this plant more or less. And the feeling I got from him is that, they look like, they're set to do it. All right,
Ulster?
Ulster is set to do it. All right, for Ulster, it's a win process. This is a money-making thing for Ulster coming to the way. All right, I know that there were people from around here went to the, in fact, Joe, you went to the town board meeting on Monday.
I did, and then I also went to the zoning board meeting, and I know it wasn't on the agenda, but, he did bring us into a separate room and speak to us privately in there.
Right, so,
He spoke to the fact that it would just be taxes kind of thing, and that he wouldn't have to raise taxes on, if this project didn't go through, then he would raise taxes.
That's not our problem.
well, here's the thing. So the first thing we did was I sent a letter to the town board of Ulster, to also the planning board, seeking that Hurley will become an involved agency in this thing. We were rebuffed. We were told that we can't become an involved agency. We have no jurisdiction. We have no decision-making. However, we become an interested party coming to the, and I have a letter here that, we will send out to, the town board, and to the planning board, authorizing, giving us permission to be the interested party. We're also going to respond back to, the DEC to make sure that that goes through. Next thing was, John Perry and myself met with, Steve Noble over in Kingston on this issue here. It seems like, what we have is like an Ulster sandwich.
Yeah.
Early on one side, Kingston on the other side, and they're squeezed in there a little bit there. And, going through this, so we spoke to Steve Noble, And he assured us that what was said in the paper is not factual. The paper said that he was in favor of this project. The answer was no. He was concerned about the safety issues.
Where was that in the article? Was that the concern of the safety issues? That was mentioned.
Supposedly Freeman did not publish it correctly, is what Steve said.
I didn't know the history of that.
People are close to get to the microphone so that it's recorded.
All right. So anyway, the next thing we did is, again, John and I, we met with NYSERDA, New York State Energy Research and Development Authority that has jurisdiction over this plant. All right, and we spoke, we had like a 45-minute. Well, we had like a 45-minute discussion.
No, I don't know if they have jurisdiction over this.
Well,
They have to opt into the guidelines in which NYSERDA has put forth. They couldn't be going by their own code and zoning based on what NYSERDA said.
okay. What was determined about this, that you heard things that this is a renewable energy plant. No, not at all. To be a renewable energy plant, they have to be married to a renewable energy project, either a wind energy or a solar energy. All right, and basically, you just want to show in those
What do you want
pictures.
to show?
I don't know, one thing.
It's this.
Right. This is a renewable energy project. You have the photovoltaic cells on top there going into a controller, which then sends the energy into the batteries. From the batteries, now mind you, the electricity coming off of the photovoltaic cells is DC, it's direct current. It goes into the batteries, it then goes into an inverter that converts it to AC, which is the electricity that houses run on. And then it runs going this way. Now, you notice the sun is shining. So what that basically is that you are probably making more energy than needed, so it's stored in the battery. And what happens, that means is that when the sun goes down and the photovoltaic cells aren't working, the battery then that's stored there will then supply the energy going through it. All right, this is truly a renewable energy project. You want to show the other picture?
Yeah.
This is what is planned for Ulster. And these are containers. There are going to be 300 of these containers. All right, they are planning on raising Coleman High School to the ground. All right, and they're going to put these 300 containers here. Now, I looked at these things here, and there's no renewable plant around here going through. In fact, if you look in the distance there, that's a substation. All right, and we had a nice discussion with NYSERDA and so forth. This is not a renewable project. This is a rechargeable project. The goal of this project is that during the peak hours, during the off-peak hours at nighttime, they will buy energy from the grid, stored in the lithium-ion batteries, and then during the peak hours, which is the sun, they will then sell it back. In Wall Street terms, that's arbitration, where you buy low and you sell high. This to me, well, I teach this, I study this thing also. This is not renewable. This is not renewable. And the money was being made here is the difference between buying it at off-peak hours and then selling it back to the grid at a higher price. The difference could be 10 cents per kilowatt hour. This is 225,000 kilowatt hours. Times that by 10 cents per hour. And
And who makes the money? Just the company?
the company
Right?
makes
It
the money.
doesn't go-
I
it
asked,
doesn't reduce anybody's cost or
it doesn't do anything but make money for them. I asked his spokesperson from Terrigen, where is the savings going to the town? And his answer was, I'll get back to you. And this actually going through here. So again, this is going to be 300 containers, like 18 mil containers going through there. And what's happening basically is, one of the things that during the meeting we had, and with the supporter of this program, was that they are going to be teaching the fire departments how to contain fires. To me, that is a red flag. Why are you teaching firefighters to contain this fire unless you expect there to be a fire?
Right, right, yes.
All right. And the thing is, though, the way you put this fire out is you can't. You can't put that, it has to burn itself out. You can't use water because water is going to just trigger this thing further, make it worse. You can't use foam because foam is PFAS, you know. You can't use anything. And so what they are doing is they are going to be surrounding all those containers there with containers of water. And the idea is that if there's a fire in one of those containers there, the water will cool down to prevent a thermal runaway. So it doesn't go explode. One of the things that we do in my chemistry class is we take lithium and we put it into water and it explodes. So, yeah. And, you know, and lithium is the most corrosive element that we know of. And in this aspect here. So even if, like, for example, if there's a fire going on here and you're dousing the whole thing with water, you are now jeopardizing the lithium in there. And what you're going to make at the very end with adding water is you're making lithium hydroxide, which is a real noxious lye, real lye. And then you're making also hydrogen fluoride or hydrogen fluoric acid, which is the strongest acid we know of going through it. You know, I got to talk to you about more so the.
You want the video? Sure. Just, wait till.
This is.
YouTube. There we go.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay. Stop. All right, this is Kelly. This is Morse Landing. All right, this is Morse Landing. This is a fine. It's not a Terrigen company. This is Vistra. Can you make it bigger?
I can.
Yeah.
All the way to the right. All the way to the right. There you go.
There we go.
Okay, and what happened was this is a fire that happened in the plant. They have no idea what caused the fire. And by the way, it's something that happened in January of 2025.
Yeah.
January 2025.
I had another one near my daughter's house in Escondido.
And here's the thing. All right. This whole plant here is stationed in an industrial park. Where they want to put the plant here is in your backyard. Okay? I don't think that that money can ensure safety.
430 yards from Amador track, and less than that from Country Village in Stony Brook.
I think it was the right years.
Yeah, and the video is a combination of news reporters and fire.
Okay. Make it louder also?
Yep.
Fourth fire.
Well, that's.
By the way, that fire went for 5 days.
It's a battery plant.
It's a battery plant, 5 days. And the thing, and basically, this renewable, that is not renewable because they're attached to a fossil fuel plant that has to be burning all the time, and the energy is then stored in here for time being, and that fine comes through. I don't know. I mean, like, I look at this thing here and, I was told to be neutral. This is the closest neutral I can be. So I like-
The only party interested is town of Ulster.
I know. So then why don't they put it in Tech City?
Well, all right, okay. I found that also, their first place, their Terrigen, by the way, Terrigen is a foreign company out of Dubai.
Yes.
All right, the thing is, with, what has happened basically is that, they actually went to look at Hyde Park to do this thing. That's an industrial plant there. But what I was told, again, I was told that, that wasn't suitable because the substation there wasn't, suitable. Plus the fact Hyde Park didn't want to sell the land to them. You know, I'm coming through it. This is a moneymaker. This is a moneymaker coming through it. All right, I just have,
No.
I mean, we're not doing our job if we don't protect our people, more or less.
Thank you.
All right, and this is something that, I understand how dangerous this could be. We see how dangerous it can be. I mean, just think about this thing also. If that plant catches on fire, New York Thruway is right there. They have to shut that down.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. It's gonna burn down. All right, and I hope for one thing that the, early ambulance service comes in force before this is done, because you're gonna have a lot of customers if this thing happens here.
I know that the emergency power station is right behind coming on the thruway too. The thruway joint. Who's that?
So is there anything that the residents can do? What is, like, what should our plan be?
I think the governor's office needs to be contacted.
Well, for
The only problem- the only
Ted
problem-
Metzger, has anybody talked to Ted Metzger?
Yes.
Yeah, I do want to say something. Kathy Hochul is for this project.
Because it's not her backyard.
Well, no, because this is 225 megawatts, which makes it the largest in New York State. Now, the plant in Landing was 2,000 megawatts.
This is how much?
This is 225, which makes it the largest plant in New York State. Coming through.
It's
And probably
250,
Northeast.
250 megawatts.
250?
Correct.
Okay.
I do have a response from Jen Metzger.
Yeah. All right,
Not good.
you have any kind of?
No.
Yeah,
not that, absolutely. I absolutely do not agree with this. This is way too dangerous. I mean, just being a member of the fire department and ambulance,
Doesn't
driver,
belong in a residential spot.
this is just a nightmare. This is a nightmare.
Yeah, this is, hold on. No, here's the thing. Further things. Again, this is a mixed use zoning,
Yes.
which allows for commercial and for houses. The nearest house to this plant is 225 feet away.
It's a
The nearest, yeah, right, and then, right, not only that, Hurley, or Rolling Meadows is a quarter of a mile away. Country Village is even closer. Is even closer there.
He's around the hill.
Yeah, and so the things that really what bothers me and gave me a red flag right away was they're doing a community service by training our firefighters how to deal with their mistakes.
You ever go to a Tesla fire?
Got a video of one of those?
Okay. All right, here's what we do. Hold on a second. All right. We discuss this right now. What I want to do right now, let's finish the rest of the agenda here, and then we have public comment at the end, and then we can hear from you people more or less coming through.
It's not the comment I wanted to make, but Mr. Quigley says he's going to be sued by the governor if he doesn't approve this project.
Well, I want.
Water soup.
That's what he said Friday.
When he gets close, no.
You know,
They're
that,
giving
there is a thing,
condo in Country Village.
there is a thing called home rule. All right, which means that Ulster can do what they want to do without any kind of interference from anybody, including us, including the governor, local country. All right, let's get through the agenda here, and then we'll come back and do it. Okay, the first thing here is
This is plenty-
resolution to approve, Mike, this is you. Michael, smack him, yeah.
Highway guy.
All right, just, oh, by the way, anyway, before I go any further, in the package here, there's a letter here, a letter here that was written, and I want to read the whole thing to you.
No, you don't need to.
I don't need to read.
No, my one suggestion as far as I'm concerned with this letter, you should actually, Jeremy should post this letter on the website. But that letter needs to be copied for all the town board members and.
You have it.
I know.
When I create it digitally tomorrow, I can just send it.
No, you're not listening to what I'm
That's
saying.
like the,
CC all the town board members on it, and if possible, any petitions that are out there, please be attached to the appendix. Because there's gotta be, I mean, all of these individuals out here have put petitions forward. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is a very, very strong
can we,
letter.
can we like go, ask Wiley if it isn't put on this? A Covington?
I guess, you know, the whole thing is that this is home
These are
rule.
his residents too.
Are we sticking to the, talking about that, or are we switching to the agenda?
So let's go to the agenda and then come back.
Yeah, we're trying to, hold on.
Finish one thing and then move on, or?
We're trying to,
We're patiently waiting and you guys are side talking.
No,
So
we're
can we
trying to,
finish the
hold on.
agenda
We're
and then
trying
we'll
to
come back to
finish,
this?
we have to finish something in this document that we want to send out. Okay?
It's related to the.
That's related to what you're talking about. It's really important. We have to finish that. So then we're just trying to finalize. Believe me, I want
Alright,
to
so
go home.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, Michael left. All right, this is a resolution to approve the emergency purchase of a heavy equipment 20-ton trailer for the Hurley Highway Department. All right, I'm not gonna read this thing.
And it comes out of the, what is
Comes out of
it? 3H?
3H, and then 3H, that's one 3H.
Okay.
All right. All right,
Is that on the bottom? Yep, it's on there.
all right, make a motion to pass this.
1 second.
All right, all in favor? The next thing is timesheet policy change. I think we all read this, we discussed this. John Perry, help with Homeless Assistance.
Yes.
Make a motion to, resolution to update the town of Hurley time records policy.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next thing is
social media policy.
social media policy. I think you were involved with it.
Well, again, this has to do with policies for town employees and volunteers. This is not about how the town uses social media. I have been collecting information from other towns. I don't have quite enough that I'd like yet, so that's something we can revisit. In general, I'm finding what I thought I would find, and I'm trying to do this quick because I know you people are being very patient. In general, I'm finding what I expected to find is that people generally do accept all the comments on their website, on their Facebook pages. They will make exceptions for the kind of things that I talked about, vulgarity and threats and such. So everything seems to be pointing in that direction. But my understanding is this resolution deals strictly with the policy about how volunteers and employees use their social media so as to not disparage the town. So,
All right, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We didn't, you didn't.
Okay. I make a motion to accept this.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. All right, and then the other one was a John, that was the ballpark, the goat. Okay,
We don't have any-
we have no, we said R. And basically, no one responded, so now we get to choose.
We got something.
Okay, all right. I make a motion to open up public comment number 2.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, public comment number, Miller Dolphin. You got a list?
Don Iola.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me 2 minutes to address a concern I have. You stole some of my thunder. Well, people in the community know me as Dr. Yoya, orthopedic surgeon. My background is that I have a degree in chemical engineering and I have a PhD in chemistry. I do know some of the chemistry of lithium and what can happen. My concerns here are that this property has not been utilized for any human purposes because of a lack of services, primarily water. And now we're told that we're going to have containment. I don't share the confidence that Mr. Quigley has in these systems. I believe in redundancy in the work I do as a surgeon and when I fly, whatever. So the fact is, if you have a lithium fire, it goes from 0 to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit in a matter of seconds, okay? You need a lot of water. I'm not talking about containing the lithium fire. You can't throw water on lithium. You use not foam, but you use carbon dioxide, you use copper powder, whatever. But the whole point is where this facility is, it's surrounded by forest. We suddenly have 1800 degrees and no water to put the surrounding area out, okay? You're going to have an LA fire, okay? And I don't share Mr., one of his defenses was that he charges his lithium battery car in his garage. I told him he was a fool. You can take that to the bank, okay? We don't do things like that. I would be living I live in Rolling Meadows, so my back is to that area. I share the same concerns as everybody. I have nothing else to add unless somebody has a question. Thank you.
Thank you. Danita Johnson.
Hi, everyone. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, just a concerned citizen. I've lived in Hurley for the last 6 years. I, like so many other residents, am very concerned about this proposed lithium battery storage at 430 Hurley Avenue. The information to date seems to be very vague and not thoroughly researched, and dare I say, a little untruthful. In an article published on June 13th in the Kingston Wire entitled "Battery Safety Expert Weighs In on the Coleman Project," it references an email from TerraGen Vice President for Energy Storage Development, Mark Turner. I quote, "We involved local fire departments prior to submitting our permit application for the project. We've had multiple informational meetings with Ulster Fire District Number 1, Spring Lake, personnel, including an in-person town hall meeting with them. We followed up with an extensive question and answer process with the fire district that Chief Joe Sport has signed off on. Yet the response that one of our residents, I think Jillian, received from a representative of the Spring Lake Fire Department does not support that statement at all. It in fact states that the department is still gathering information for the project. I've also taken the liberty of reaching out to the Ulster County Department of Emergency Services to ask the new director and the fire coordinator how the county is prepared to handle such an emergent situation should it arise. Before any additional consideration is given to a project with this many inherent risks to the safety and well-being of the residents, not only of Hurley, but of Stony Run, Country Village, various neighbors, schools, churches, and the town of Esopus Creek. I implore the board to find out how we can ask these questions and to seek the answers that we all need to take before any additional progress is made. Where are the safety zones to be established? What are the cooling techniques? What regular training programs will be offered to the firefighters who are volunteers and have regular full-time jobs? Why are we going to risk our EMTs who are also volunteers? And as the mother of twin EMTs, this is a really legitimate concern, and I'm sure that one that you've all thought of as well. What are the emergency shutdown procedures? Thank you all for the opportunity to present my concerns.
Can we get those?
Nice.
Yeah.
Can we get them now?
Can we get copies of those?
Here, I'll make.
Of the letter?
It's a little scribble.
Every single one of these we should include. Thank you. Thank you. And what's your address?
486.
No, we'll be right on.
Want to make copy, Thomas?
Everybody else. a copy?
No, we need, before we need all of them.
With this.
Anybody else?
Jillian, for you.
Yeah. I want to thank the board for your time and your service, and I understand that we are heading into an election season. And as I recognize the challenges that come with taking strong positions, I'm here tonight to ask the leadership, because this is bigger than politics, right? It's about protecting the safety, health, and the future of Berlin. So I made a couple points, I'm gonna go through them. And I know that some of us have had conversations, so, the board silence sends an unintended message. So every day the Hurley board stays silent, it sends a signal, intended or not, that we are okay with this project, but we are not, right? And I believe this board should reflect the voice of the people who live here. We have precedent and momentum. So I'll give you a copy of this. Ulster County Legislator Eric Stewart has written me an email in opposition of this proposal. Neighboring residents have stated their opposition. I even have an example from Westchester County. This is a Mayapack, where their town board wrote a letter to the board in favor. So they wrote this letter. Here's an example of it. I'd like to see a letter kind of come from you guys as well. You can have that, all copies. For you.
In favor of the.
In opposition of it. Yep, sorry, I didn't clarify. I'll give you copies. Where the board stood with its residents against a similarly risky facility. We are not alone, and Hurley should not be absent. So it's not about opposing alternative energy. It's about location, right? Location, location, location. We are asking for basic common sense planning. Schools, churches, historic sites, and neighborhoods are not the place for industrial battery plants, facilities. This is about siting, nothing more. Hurley is a historic town. We protect that history and we take pride in it. This facility would just be over the line. And any accident doesn't stop at municipal boundaries. Our water, our air, and our emergency systems are on the line too. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. A formal letter or resolution asking for a full environmental review, state historic preservation involvement, which I have contacted, I could send those emails. And safe siting it's not radical, it's responsible governance. You don't have to oppose the state of clean energy. You just have to support your people. So I'm asking the board tonight to either issue a formal statement or a letter like Westchester County has done in opposition to Ulster County and to the Ulster County Planning Board, stating Hurley's concern and opposition to the current proposed location. Please stand with your constituents. We need you to lead, strong leadership. So just to go, I heard someone here say, what can we do at this point? So number one, keep showing up at meetings, show up at these meetings, but more importantly, you need to show up at the Town of Ulster board meetings. They happen twice a month. I have a Facebook group. If anyone's not a part of it or needs my phone number, you need text message reminders for these meetings, I will do all that for you. We need to show up, and it doesn't just end this Wednesday. We need to keep going until this thing is over, hopefully. Number two, sign the petition, pass it. I can email you a copy, get it out there. Right now, we have over 400 signatures to date, and I haven't even collected them from everyone who's still signing them. And number three, email, call, write the elected officials. I have gathered a mass list of all of our local elected officials, state officials. I will post that on the page if anyone wants to add. If I'm missing anyone, call, write the letters, be persistent.
What's your Facebook page called?
It is no lithium battery plant on Hurley Avenue.
No battery plant on Hurley Ave.
There you go.
It's a public group, so you should be able to find it.
Yep. And I think I posted it on the Citizens of Town of Hurley page.
Yeah.
But,
And it's on the Rolling Meadows.
it's on the Rolling Meadows page. But, so I have been in touch with someone named Stephanie from Mayapack. I have a phone call with her, and they were successful in blocking this plant. And she believes we could be very successful as well because we are at the application phase. She knows all about this, the ins and outs. She's so knowledgeable. We're going to be in touch throughout this all. And I think that, she thinks we have a really, really good chance of blocking this. They are blocking these all over the place. So I just don't know why that we can't either.
Can you tell us what Jen Metzger had to say?
Oh, yes, Jen Metzger. She basically said, just to paraphrase it, that it wasn't her jurisdiction and that we needed to only speak with James Quigley. I can email it to you if you want it.
Right, it's better jurisdictions or county.
Unfortunately, like, these are what some of our elected officials are saying, but we need to keep writing the letters. We need to keep being persistent, and we need to make it hit home and be personal. I'm sure some of their kids have went to school here, lived here. Maybe some of them went to Coleman, and just remind him, like, that there's fires, that there's a possibility that some of that won't exist anymore. So, and just to go off the video that you showed from Moss Landing, they actually hired Aaron Brockovich because people got so sick, right? Aaron Brockovich, that movie. And those that smoke, those gases that come out that Mike spoke about, like, you breathe some of those in, it's like instant organ damage. It is that serious. Asthma, neurological, it's very, very serious. It is. That's why we need to just really band together as a community with really strong leadership. And I think I want to try to be positive. I go in waves. Some days I think it's not happening, and other days I'm like, it's here. And just also one more thing to note, that I get some sidebars that, oh, it's a done deal. That's what I'm hearing from certain people that know certain people in high positions. Oh, it's a done deal. And that's concerning to me because it's like, how is it a done deal? It hasn't even gone through seeker. There's a process. But Stephanie says that that is part of their agenda. They want to make it like it's done, so we stop here. So just keep going and keep doing the things and be in touch with me and this lovely lady here. And
Who's Stephanie?
Stephanie is from Mayopac, Summers. It was supposed to be in Summers. She's West Summers. I'm saying it wrong. She was the one who led the fight and opposed the lithium battery there.
She was the Jillian in Mayopac.
Somers is where? Somers is in the town of Westchester, and the whole package is the town of, is the county of Putnam. And we have petitions over there. If anybody hasn't signed them yet, you can sign a petition against the, in opposition to the battery storage facility.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
There's no one else that has signed up.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Come right up and.
Yeah, go to the microphone.
What's your name?
Rick Hockman. I live in Rolling Meadows. Is there any part of the footprint of this proposed facility that's going to be within town of Hurley at all?
No.
Where are they getting the water from? Is it true it's coming from the Rolling Meadows
Yes.
Water Company?
Yes.
Can that be stopped?
Yeah.
I see that they're drilling already on the property. Are they talking about drilling their own sources of water?
I
Don't
drove
know.
by that this morning and so from, I saw a heavy truck there.
The substation that they're tying into, is that within the town of Hurley? No. And there was one other question. Should have wrote it down. But I didn't. Thank you very much for your.
Come back. I had to guess your course sample. They're doing course sample.
What are they doing?
Course sample. If I had to guess.
Just start with your name.
We also did,
You're allowed to do pre-core sampling before
Okay.
seeking.
Did they actually buy the property yet? though?
No,
no.
there's a 3-year agreement between, the Argentinian company that owns it. It's an Argentinian company. That's what James Quigley told us. There's a 3-year deal with Terrigen. So in the event this goes through, in 3 years' time, Terrigen is gonna buy the property from the Argentinian company that owns it.
Good evening, my name is Alex Meadows.
Last name, Alex?
Dravic, D as in dog, R-A, B as in boy, Y-K. I'm at 365 Elmendorf Drive. I just want to bring the board's attention because I don't know if you guys.
Just raise it up. That's it.
Sorry. I just want to bring the board's attention because I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see it, that there are drawings available for the entire project. There's drawings, there's written documentation. There's a whole slew of things available on the internet. I posted it on
Yes.
Jillian's group.
Oh.
I did print out a set. I'll leave it with you guys to take a look at. I'm an architect, so I do planning board, zoning board, all that kind of stuff fairly often. There's a lot of holes in this, and it's a permit set, but I do think I listed a bunch of questions on here that I think it'd be worth presenting to the town of Ulster, so that they can then see that this application, at least in my opinion, is still not complete. Specifically, there's talk of a noise wall that will surround the entire facility. There's no renderings of what that looks like, so that's something that we should ask for. I did call the Thruway Authority earlier this week and left them a message and sent an email showing them all of this information along with all of the pretty accessible public information on how dangerous these facilities can be and the fact that it abuts right up to the Thruway. I'm not sure if anyone over there even realizes it's happening. I'm sure someone does, but I do think making some noise in that avenue is important. Likewise, I think that there's been talk of what this will look like from the road and what the aesthetic impacts this will have on Hurley Ave would be. But there's no renderings, there's no photorealism suggesting what sort of the plantings and landscaping might look like. Feels like low-hanging fruit because we're all worried about fires. But these are the kinds of things that can get people thinking like, oh, it's not just going to burn, but it might actually look horrible. You know, and you start bringing that up to the board's attentions, and it really, I think, it's something that people can really grasp onto. And there's another thing on here. There's a separate O&M structure listed in the plan. It says O&M structure by others. O&M is office and manufacturing. This lot is split on two zones. It's the R30 zone residential and the O&M office and manufacturing zone. So I think the fact that it's straddling two separate zones is also something we can really hang on to and push back on. Saying that most of this facility will be on the residential zone seems out of place. So these are all things that they will need to get special use permits for. And that's the process they're going through right now. And that's really where we can stop them. So I'm going to leave this with you guys to see.
Could you email me a copy of that too?
Yeah, totally. There's a whole Google Drive document folder that has all of that information on it, a bunch of letters, a couple more sets of drawings. So I will email that to you for sure. It's posted in Jillian's group and I posted it in the Rolling
We're
Meadows
to
group.
decide what to post online here, but it's easier if I have it to start with.
I will definitely get it. Thank you.
So one thing I want to add also, they have suggested putting trees around our facility coming this way. One thing that, I don't know if you guys realize.
Tinder.
Those with the truck file, right, to Tinder.
Right.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but a plant like that hums.
Yeah.
And it's out of food also.
65,
That's why they're suggesting, and it's just one line around the whole thing, but they're saying it's a noise wall, but there's no details or drawings of what that's going to look like. So that would be something where we could say, hey, we need to see the visuals for what all this is, if this is going to be something that's going up in early. So just food for thought, and I will definitely get you all this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else wish to speak? On that?
Yeah. I'm just curious, as everyone's talking, I'm curious, does the town or maybe the experience from Mayopac or Summers, does the town or should the town start looking at a contingency legal fund? So does the town have the legal means or the financial means to fight a large project? That's my only question.
So we, so Stephanie from Mayopac, that area, she told me they did actually hire a lawyer. I'm gonna be getting more information about the lawyer's name and the cost of that. I have talked with my friend over here, and I think the next step is to post a GoFundMe, and that can be designated for legal fees, signs, because there will be signs, T-shirts, I mean, whatever we need to do, flyers, all expenses specifically towards that and making noise. So that's our next plan that we're kind of talking about at this point. Yeah, to just support that.
I have a question. Is it the town board or the planning board that approves special use in town of Ulster?
It'll be the planning board and
Yes.
we'll have to go from the CBA, so the zoning board will also have to issue the approvals.
So the planning board is ultimately going to have the
Plan.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Anybody else wish to speak? You know, John, when we spoke to NYSERDA, one of the suggestions of putting out the flyer is to put a box over it.
No, that is absolutely true. So
Put a box to suffocate
it's a
it.
sealed container that would go over it that potentially But I mean, when you're that close together, you have to need some type of crane system, some type of, and this is a large structure that would have to go over top of it to seal it. That was one of the recommendations, but I mean, is it feasible?
Sue is gonna man the crane.
John said that there will be cranes on site.
Cranes on site.
So,
So we
I
just
mean,
wanted
these are just things that we requested, they have come up, they're ideas. And as an interested party, these are things that we can present. We can only request, we have no power, unfortunately, to a point. We have people power, we have voice power, we have the ability to do what we're doing right now. And that's more so, I think, important, and especially at the ground rules part of this. Moving forward, maybe we do have money that we would put aside for other legal fees, dealing with the reservoir, and maybe we could
That'd be amazing.
establish a resolution to change the use of the reservoir over to this. That's up to the town board. That's essential. Maybe it was like 200,000.
Yeah, that's what it's at.
That's one thing I wanted to know, just thinking inside my head here, if they did go through this and there was a catastrophic fire, that the highway department would be called out for evacuation, for blocking roads, barricading roads, whatnot. The union workers would not want to come. They don't have the air safety apparatus to go out and do this kind of thing. There's so many different counts in this situation that are not good.
We spoke to Steve Noble, Kingston Fire Department, which is a paid fire company, is being trained to deal with any kind of fires going on, and they're the point person.
They're the hazmat for the
So
county.
they're the hazmat also.
Yeah, so they're gonna come out and they're gonna block all the roads in the evacuation area, not require any of it.
That's Mike
I know, I wouldn't
Madison.
actually-
That's Mike Madison.
They completely ignored my email.
Who?
Kingston Fire Department. He did not respond to anything. Just completely. Nothing. Also, nothing. Hurley a little bit been, and I mean, we could talk later about how.
Kingston's got the only hazmat.
Kingston got the only hazmat team, and that's who it was.
I mean, I don't expect Curly firefighters, Springfield firefighters, or even Ulster firefighters to be even near that.
Yeah.
You know,
Even in fallout zone,
we can't.
where the
And
wind,
where would they
the prevailing wind
evacuate?
blows.
Yeah, where would we go to? I mean, it's gonna be thousands of people. Can that route handle all the traffic of the evacuation?
By the way, they say 5 mile radius, that would include the entire city of Kingston.
That's
Yeah.
why the city of Kingston, the people need to get
I don't know how, I've been trying to like infiltrate other local town groups.
How do you feel about that?
It's only 2 miles wide.
All right. Anybody?
I'm against it. I'm not gonna make a formal statement because I don't have any scientific information to offer. But I really think we all need to do everything we can. So we know the governor is for it, so we should be ready to Governor Hochul and everybody else. So our senators, state and congressional people as well. Has anybody contacted Brian and Riley's office? Anybody? Do we not?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, this,
I'll start making some phone calls.
this is a classification. This is called, they want to call this a renewable energy, which means it's fast. I know it's not, but that's what they want to call it, because they can be fast tracked and there's less hoops to jump through to get this thing done. You know, anything that wasn't a renewable may take 5, 6, 7 years to get started. This will start real soon, perhaps, because of the renewable.
So when we're contacting, people, we need to say that it is not renewable energy despite what the storage. Yeah.
But you gotta understand something. You have to understand- It's not, wait, hold on. You have to understand something. It's not up here. It's you guys also. It has to be, we have to have a unified front. It has to be everybody.
I think we're all here. We need just a little more.
Well, I think that's why we need to come up with a game plan. Everybody make this call, make this call, make this call, write this letter, write this letter, write this letter. That's what we need to come up with a plan of what we can do moving forward.
If you want to speak, could you come
Yeah,
to the mic?
absolutely. I'm Mike Cooper, I'm sorry, I didn't sign up. One of the Laurel Street. Cooper, C-O-P here. So I know they said that Hochul was for it. From what I read, I'm not an expert. This comes out of the Climate Act. And so with the Climate Act, it says that there needs to be 3,000 megawatts of energy storage. So in terms of from little I know, I don't think it has to be classified as renewable to be fast track. It just has to be a fast. It has to be energy storage to reduce the peaks, right? And in doing so, supposedly, right, will take pressure off of our grid. So I think just that fact alone, because this is such a huge system at 250 megawatts, you're looking at like 8% of Hochul's plan is taken care of right here.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of force behind this. And we've contacted a lot of officials. And you would be shocked how many don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Yes, really, yes.
Because there's a lot of push on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about Antonio?
We have not called, I haven't
I will
called
put it on
Delgado.
our list and post it on
Yeah.
his contact info.
People have the power.
Yeah,
we
no,
can.
I
They
really
work,
agree.
they work for you. They
And
don't
the
work for
louder we can become local on our local officials, the louder their voices will become and hopefully work up.
Yeah.
There's something else, I'm sorry, I'm blanking now on the second part of that. Oh, with the fire, so there was energy safety audit done by Clean Energy Associates, which is the trade group. And they did an audit in February of 2024. And I think it was over 250 BESS systems. And of the 250 BESS systems, they found that 26% had malfunctioning or had issues with fire detection and suppression systems within the BESS. So like the technology really isn't there. When they come and say this is safe, there's no backing on it. There was also, I can email you the source of this. There was also another trade group. This is all within clean energy. That stated that of the fires that occurred in these BESS systems, I believe there was high as 60%, the source of the fire was unknown.
Yeah.
So they don't know what's causing these fires, and there's no mandate for them to report the source of these fires. So there's no like national registry, there's no state registry. So really you're going in, and these things aren't as, they're not as well regulated as possible. So these are all issues we all need to be worried about and concerned about. I am so happy that you guys share our concerns.
Yes.
That's step one. I think the next step from the town is in the county. And I don't know why the county is not wanting to get involved in this as a lead agency. But I know I was stonewalled by Jen too. And yeah, so Sarah Hana too. Yeah.
I think from what I'm told, I'm gonna get the same Stonewall, so, but I haven't even got a response from her. I emailed her 2 weeks ago, nothing, so.
They both voted for the rapid act.
So this will be in opposition of that.
So I think a targeted approach is best, and town of Ulster, I think, is step one.
Right.
But then I think county, I think we have to have a targeted approach to our county.
The reason I target is because of that upgraded substation.
Yes, that's exactly
Yes.
right.
It's the substation.
Yeah, it's gonna save them money from running the
They're looking
lines.
for the easy route to try to reach a goal.
That's it.
Yep.
Just like with the 1 in 10 commercial trucks have to be a battery. And then none of the manufacturers even have a battery.
It's the substation.
It's
right
that's
across
what
the
it's
street.
about. It's all about that. Look,
Yeah.
it's all about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Just one more question. It's a legal kind of question. Sorry to take up everyone's time. It's so important. Myself and other people are starting to foil information. We're going to be foiling every single week. Legally, what is the response time that you have to respond to a foil?
Or it's 5 days to respond that you received it.
Right. You have
And
20.
then you have 20 days to respond to
Okay.
everything.
And
Okay, so they have
you can say we can't, they could have difficulty getting it to you within the 20 days. They have the right to say we need more time.
Well,
But they should be able to get it to you within the 20 days.
yeah, if
Okay.
you're going to foil something, don't make it broad.
No, we have to make it very
Make it
specific.
very
No, I
specific.
understand.
You can actually make it very specific here, here.
Yep, we're gonna be, I'm gonna be foiling the specifics with Mark Turner, Terrigen, and his communications with Spring Lake Fire Department.
Well,
I want to hear about that stuff.
I got word from like Mark Turner that he's gonna have a meeting. Maybe here. My suggestion was probably Deet Stadium,
Yeah.
with all the people that.
Let's pack it out.
This is a strange renewable. Usually, it works in reverse. I'm saying it works in reverse, where the energy is give them back during, nighttime and collect it during the daytime. It's exactly reverse. This is rechargeable. Anybody else wish to speak?
I just want to know what the board's next step is then, because there's a lot of talk, right? And we're all on board, but you guys, we need your support. So what is your next step? What are the steps that the board's gonna take to help support that this, you know, like getting the information out there?
So one of the things that has happened is that the board through supervisors put, first thing is to make sure that we are represented as an interested agency. And what I've suggested to our supervisor is that when we communicate this to the town of Ulster, that we include all the documentation, as much documentation, including all the petitions that have been signed in this document. That's kind of,
That's why we're asking for the.
that's what we're trying to resolve a little earlier. Because all of the information that you have, emails and correspondence with all of these people and all of that can go in packets. Once that happens, then we have another vehicle. Supervisor Mike Baums can then take all of that information and then we can start initiating other types of actions across the town. Now, and as Dan, town board member, Dana Pine mentioned, we need to just start coordinating this. I'm 100% behind this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm a chemist. That's what my doctorate is, chemistry. So I get it, all right? So we can weigh in very, very heavily on the problems and contaminants and all of this, and we can go from there.
I also.
That's one thing, I was like, what's step
yeah.
2? So we're gonna send the letter, the board's gonna send the letter with all of the documentation. What's step 2?
I don't think it's necessarily 1, 2. I mean, we're chatting about
We're trying to-
contingency,
yeah.
right? Deputy Supervisor John Perry just mentioned, right, we have some monies that were set aside for that kind of legal
Legal
stuff.
work.
So that's something we can do in parallel. And we can start to put that aside and start to figure out what's the right thing to do with that.
Well, the first step that we did already, I got a letter here from the town supervisor of Ulster. And this is a response to my letter to him saying that we wish to be an involved agency. His response was, you can't. If you want to be an interested agency. All right, so my thing is right now that we have to get everybody involved in. Step 1 is we notify, town of Ulster that we have a very good interest in this thing. Recommendation is we oppose this vehemently, going through it as a neighbor. But this can't happen. You have a setup at IPART that is much more suitable if you want that. I mean, if in fact, one reason why they chose that IPART was the substation is inadequate. You gotta understand something, the substation that was built by Coleman is recent, isn't it?
Yeah.
You gotta wonder, is there some sort of?
5 years ago. Yeah. Partner with the city of Kingston, like when we work on that.
You know what is Coleman sold it to a land agency or whatever?
Argentina?
And then when
Yes.
they're selling it to Herigen?
I have no
She
idea.
said Argentina.
No, so the Argentinian company owns the land right now. This is coming straight from James Quigley. There's a 3-year deal with Terrigen. So if it all goes through within the 3-year time, the Argentinian is gonna officially purchase the company. Terrigen is gonna officially purchase from the Argentinian.
Who owns the land?
Argentinian company, so that would be a good thing to foil, if we can get those specifics about.
My mom has been in contact with Steve Noble.
I know, but if we could all get on the same.
Right,
board.
well, I think our next thing, we need to find a politician who's gonna be behind us, be it Delgado, be it, Eric Stewart, but he's not behind us. We need a higher official who that we can join forces with and then let them take the lead and then follow that, because all of us, there's a lot of noise, but they will continue to go on, but we need someone now, there's a lot of running for governor for next year. I'm thinking maybe him and Kathy don't really see eye to eye, and maybe he'd be the guy, but I think that Mike Bond has to try to reach out to him, and we need to get a politician who's gonna be able to make something else happen.
So is that like another step that you're gonna take as the town supervisor? Will you be reaching out to him? And
I will.
when will we know that that's done? Like, I want concrete, like, we're looking for concrete action, right? And so we need to know that the board is doing these things, right? So can you please reach out to him and let us know when you do that and by a certain date, right? And can we find out by a certain date if Rolling Meadows Water is gonna be involved in this so that we can then put the heat on Rolling Meadows Corporation? I know it's private, but he lives in our community. He should be just as concerned, so he shouldn't be supplying water to them. So those are two things that we need to find out right away so that we can put the heat on those two people, right? And then we just need you guys to give us concrete dates of when this stuff is gonna happen so that we can start moving forward. All the talk is great, but we need a plan. We need a plan. We need a concrete plan to push forward with all this. So if you can tell us that that's gonna be done by Friday, great. I'm not saying that, I don't know your timeline. But just give us something, substance to say that you're doing this and this is when it's gonna be done.
Can there be a spot on the Facebook page or whatever, Jeremy, the webpage that we dedicate just to this?
I would.
We can, I wanted to talk to you guys about that. That's not something we necessarily have to talk about.
We need something where people can access it, so you know what's going on.
What I'm hoping, and you've seen, I've handed my business card to a couple of people tonight. I have Mike's letter to the town of Ulster. We can post that immediately, and then we can piggyback onto that, whatever information we can get. What I can do, if you guys want, is I can have our web hosting company, Civic Plus, create a dedicated page on our website.
That's what they're asking for.
So
So just say yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. You guys could go right to that page and you'll know what we're doing.
It would be sparsely populated, it would be sparsely populated at first, but as I get information, we will gladly, but let me ask you a question as a board. All of the things that are gonna be sent to me about this are obviously in opposition to the project, which is fine. It's worth noting that the board has not yet taken an official position.
That's we need that, but that's what I'm saying. We need steps, right?
Right.
We need that. You're gonna do the letter. We want you to put it on record.
You could add that into your special meeting on Friday and just adopt a quick resolution. I would just want the board to be formally on the record before the town website is doing everything that looks opposed to it. It's just gotta jive.
I would write a letter on letters.
Yeah.
And like Greg said, you can CC, you can CC every alder person, you can CC every person on the legislation. You can go down the line all the way up to local, including your two Congress people.
And
Everything what you're looking for is, and we're looking for your support now. How can you help the town of Hurley? And see who comes out of that letter and says, I stand with Hurley. Now you can move forward with that and allow their voice also to become part of what we're trying to do.
And I think we really need, just like Westchester, just like they did, their town board did. I would love to see a letter just come out, just like they're just saying that we are in opposition of this. It is our safety, of just all the things, just getting it out there and just letting them know, like,
that's the letter that's on the side, right?
No, not the interest, not the interest.
Right.
That's like an internal conversation.
I know.
There's a resolution saying that this town is opposed to that.
For the expedience of getting this word out to the public, not that I have any policy power in this town, I would recommend maybe since you're holding a special meeting on Friday anyway, that you consider also adopting a resolution at that time. Meanwhile, I can have Civic Plus get a page ready for us, and then once you have formally approved it, then we will publicize that this page exists and what people can find.
The resolution is not the letter. The resolution is to present the letter to the CC individually. The letter is in itself. The resolution is going to allow people to tap out to the public.
Right.
For those.
Jillian,
So we have to-
you can
we have to
send
draft
us the
it right away.
petitions with all the names and all of this stuff.
I can scan them into you, or I
However-
can photocopy them and drop them off at someone's.
However, yeah, we need.
They're gonna be ongoing too, like we're.
Yeah, I
getting
know,
her-
but
yeah,
here to be.
Yeah,
You're right, just send it to us.
I'll get them to you by Friday,
Yeah,
Thursday.
whenever, yeah.
Okay.
As soon as we
That's
can.
number one.
So you guys talked to Steve Noble, right?
Resolution is.
Yes,
And he said that he's against this?
Did not say.
he didn't say he was against it.
Okay, I misheard that. I thought you said that he was not.
He said that the Freeman article wasn't correct. The Freeman article said that he was for it.
So that
apparently
he
that's-
never really came out publicly and said if he's for or against it.
His response to us was, he's gonna study the aspects of it,
Yeah.
and then come back with it.
I'd also like to suggest that, along the lines that Alex talked about, one of the best ways to derail some of these things is really to look at their own code, and you have to try to use the law in your favor and see where there are missing things or where they're overstepping their boundaries, and to bring all those things up when they have a public hearing. And if they go to the zoning board, you know, if they want to, they're gonna have to combine these areas and rezone the property, so there's some opportunity in there. You know, especially for people who own property around it, to say, no, we don't want you to rezone our property,
They don't have to resume.
you know?
They don't, yeah, it's
Well,
confused.
And then and then James.
But usually the county's gonna ask them to try to combine that into a proper zone for the facility. So
That's a request.
they would have to request that. So even at the Ulster County Board, Ulster County Planning Board, there could be some questions raised there.
Piggyback, hang on a second, piggybacking on what you just said. You need to find out who the attorneys were that worked for Nick Sommers.
For Mayopac, I
For
know.
Mayopac.
I have that
Hang on.
meeting with her on
Yeah,
Thursday.
so I'll give you a sad story. Have you ever heard of Cape Wind? Cape Wind is an offshore project, okay?
Yeah.
And I happen to have a house in Craigsville, and they won, okay? We didn't have politicians, a lot of money went in, and there's a lot, not me, but a lot of rich, it's walking distance from the Kennedy compound.
Right.
They came ashore with the cables, telling us it's 30 feet under, and there's no EMF. Well, I measured the EMF, okay? So these guys have money on their side. You need a politician or more. I mean, maybe Antonio is gonna be good for us. He claims he's, Saugerty's boy, okay? And you need an attorney who has fought this battle before
Yeah.
and knows the ins
Yeah,
and
they know
outs.
the end.
Otherwise, we're dead.
Correct.
I agree. I agree.
I think this plan is better because of course a lot longer.
Yeah, that's what I think. This plan has been going on
I
a lot longer
was
than.
thinking the same thing. I wonder if they.
This is all part of the substation upgrade.
I'll bet you.
Yes, to support this.
It has all the elements.
Did I say one more thing?
Yep.
So.
Remember?
Well, I just want to mention that I was on the planning board in town of Olive when we started discussing, among other things, the cell towers that were going to go up. And there was some revenue that was going to come to the town, and then the town board actually took the power away from the planning board, which they can do, to approve that project. But from my recollection, when all of a sudden 100 people show up to a meeting that usually has an attendance of 5 or 6, and they're all against the project, your opinions change real quick. Even though there's tax revenue involved, you start thinking maybe this isn't such a great idea. And it would seem to me that if there's a 5-mile evacuation zone that you're talking about, that's going to take up most of the town of Ulster, which lies to the north and west of this proposed site, which happens to be the way the prevailing winds go. So it would seem to me you could easily get 100 people. I think you've probably got that in the Stony Run Apartments right there. Ulster residents, town of Ulster residents, who would want to show up at a meeting and say, are you out of your mind? So if we could somehow get that in progress.
Kingston's within a 5-mile radius. They had to evacuate as well.
Well, but Kingston doesn't get to approve the project. Town of Ulster does. So it would seem to me the weak spot here is the residents of the town of Ulster.
Yes.
They need to know what's going on. They need to stand up and say, look, we don't want this project across the street from our apartment building. And if there's some way to do that, I don't know how to do it, but if there is some way, I'd certainly be willing to help.
We can do flyers, but then we need the manpower to get the flyers out.
I'll help.
I need people here, I bet would help.
The city of Kingston, I kind of feel like maybe they don't know all of the information.
Most people,
No, go ahead.
Right, they don't.
even this range of residents, anecdotally.
I don't know, I just know it's right across the street from.
They are Kingston.
the town of Ulster is only about 1,500 feet swath that goes through there. And that's why the town of Ulster has really nothing to lose by putting it there. Because there's only a couple of residents.
Most of the town of Ulster is within 5 miles.
Oh, correct, but not right next door.
Yeah.
So
I mean, hold on.
it doesn't really matter who the people are and where they live. That show up to
You
the
know,
meeting.
yeah.
It's from the body.
Okay, hold on a second. I just gotta say something. I didn't know what was going on here until 2 people emailed me on a Friday. I had no idea. I guarantee you, people in Kingston have no idea what is going on.
That is correct.
All right? I mean, when I heard this thing, I was shocked at first. I thought this is crazy. But this is real.
Yeah.
You know, and I guarantee you, and I think even with Steve Noble himself, he may not know the consequences going on anywhere else.
So does everyone? Can I ask you to come down to town hall tomorrow?
Yeah, so, what time are you thinking?
Just after the meeting's over, come have a conversation, we'll figure it out.
Okay, after, Wednesday's meeting?
No, after today's.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I do think to whoever said the point of 100 people and your opinion changes quick, Kingston doesn't really know, right? Because they're like, oh, that just affects over there.
Yes.
But if you 100 people show up between Kingston and Ulster, and then,
Correct.
like you were saying, opinions change quickly. So if we can start getting the word out.
Even if you're not from Ulster, I think it's still worth. People from Hurley go.
I emailed the entire administration of the Kingston City School District today with this information because I'm a parent of 2 young children, one of whom goes to Edson. Edson is a school where families from all over Kingston attend, not just Uptown and Hurley. So, and Bailey Middle School, same thing. So if parents that their kids go to those schools can get wind of this, people will be up in arms. I don't know exactly how. I have found it difficult to enter the world of the community of PTA and Kingston Board and all that. I've tried, but it's not easy. We should talk. But I know that parents will not be okay with this, so that's one avenue to take, just as far as getting bodies.
So what you want to do is go to a school board meeting, the school board meeting, which is a public meeting, and they'll have public comment.
Actually,
And that's where you're gonna bring it up.
They're only gonna be talking about the GW Montessori.
Or perhaps you can get someone to approve putting a flyer into every kid's backpack.
They won't.
You won't do it.
They
You won't do it.
They won't even wire after that. And also, town of Ulster, find out who the legislator is that covers town of Ulster. Because that's where you gotta start, because these are their representatives too.
Might help to get the parents and grandparents of the Hurley Nursery School up there too. That would disseminate out of all the
The
kids.
businesses on Front Street, like, we need to start reaching out to those businesses,
Yeah.
like the Kingston Plaza, like all of those businesses that are close enough, like on Front Street and all of them, we try to get them to know that they're gonna be affected by this lawsuit.
You know something, one last thing also, that video that we saw here, where the cameras were taking the flyer, that was 5 miles away. That camera was 5 miles away.
Proximity and coming down in the rain, you'd have the whole pub would be, they wouldn't be able to use your plants.
I think there's a lot of, for lack of better word, ignorance out there, people just don't know. And to your point, I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest, I live in Rolling Meadows and I've heard of it, but I didn't know the extent of it. To Jillian came up and she's like, Maddie, listen, we gotta talk about this. And I'm like, okay. Until I signed the petition and, you know, here I'm here tonight, but it's amazing, like really what's going on here. I don't feel like a lot of people know.
I'd like to thank publicly Jillian for bringing it to my
Yeah.
attention. They told me about Escondido, which is only about 6-7 miles from my daughter's house. My daughter didn't even know about it. And, you know, that fire burned pretty bad out there for a while. So it's.
What about also like, the town maybe getting on Radio Kingston and talking about being opposed to all this?
We are working
on
the media aspect.
There may be people just like the town of Hurley sort of saying, like, we as a whole group are against this
And
project.
Spectrum News.
I'm just gonna put it out there that the meeting on Wednesday may or may not be very fast.
You
What was the town of Ulster?
I know one person.
Yeah, town board meeting, town board meeting.
What time?
Seven o'clock, and we're meeting. I will give you the address if you don't know by now. All right, so 7 PM, and we're meeting. It's Lake Katrines. It's 1 Town Hall Drive.
Right, we're splitting it.
She doesn't cover the
Right, you go to all these meetings, you get people in these different districts to go to these meetings. It's the numbers that will make a difference.
I agree. I understand that, but I do think that we need a commitment from
We
the board.
are,
by getting
we are,
Our
we are,
statement out
we are,
there.
we are.
By sending a letter. And
We are.
getting it done like
We're
this.
gonna have to propose a letter. Yes, the resolution on Friday, have a special meeting.
I just, Stephanie said for me, it was a year-long battle. It took about a year, so beyond, for a year, so we're gonna be here for it.
Yeah, this is not gonna be, it's not gonna go away in a week, 2 weeks. Yeah, there's too many politicians about this.
All right. Anyone else wish to speak? You know, I think we spoke enough action now, right? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Chili, those public
Yeah.
comments.
Just want to ask.
Yes, I make a motion, close public comment number 2. All in favor?
No,
Thank you.
I make a motion to go to executive session. Second.
Sorry. I told you.
Just I'm gonna invite, John Perry. I have to go to the. Public work, section 105, medical financial credit, employment history of a single person or corporation, or legislating to the appointment, promotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, removal of legal person. Corporation.
Which one is it? Yes, which one it is?
Motion goes to public record.
Oh, we have to specify which one of those things it is.
No, yeah.
I'll show it to you.
It's not what, it's not.
Because we've always done a very good
Specified
line that- Right, we've always got the whole thing, because you don't know what you're gonna do until you made the.
Our decisions.
That's what- that's what-
You wanna give me all the,
No
batteries.
All the time.
Detailed, just has to which one.